Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GMAC Club MBA Spotlight Fair featuring top business schools from across the world. My name is Selby. I am a GMAC Club moderator, and today I'm delighted to be hosting Emory University's Goizueta School of Business here to give us a great insight on what the MBA program is like at Emory. We've got Kathleen, Dhruv, and Naveen who will be taking us through the presentation, after which we will be going through a Q&A. This Q&A will happen later on Zoom, so make sure to join right after the session ends. We will be offering some prizes for you for attending the session. The prize drawing will be done at the end. So if you want to enter the prize drawing, the link to it will be uploaded on the chat box. Also, guys, during this live, feel free to ask any questions that you have in the chat box. A representative from Goizueta will be answering your questions throughout this live. Last but not least, give this video a like. And yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Selby. Hello, everyone. I'm Kathleen Edwards. I'm the Director of MBA Admissions at Goizueta Business School at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been part of the team for over a decade now, which seems like a really long time, but the reason I love it and the reason I keep coming back every year is to work with fantastic students at a transformative time in their academic and professional development. So with that, we wanted to use our time today to really give you a special insight from two of our recent graduates who have successfully completed their MBA experience and are ready to share their wisdom and advice with you about the application process, how they spent their time during business school, and now what the results have been post MBA. So with that, I'm going to ask our two alumni to introduce themselves, and then we'll jump into some questions before we do a little bit of program overview and details, things like that. So Dhruv, can I ask you to introduce yourself, please?
Of course, sure, Kathleen. Super happy to be here. About myself, I am originally from India. I did my undergrad in civil engineering, but literally halfway through the college, I knew civil engineering was not for me. So I started to branch out a little and I explored the world of analytics. And that's how I got my first job at Mu Sigma, which was in India. And from Mu Sigma, I went on to join Accenture Digital, where I was a consultant. So throughout my professional experience in India, I worked on machine learning and deep learning analytical projects, and that actually built my analytical acumen a lot. And from there on to move forward in my career, I thought that I need to marry this knowledge that I have with more management knowledge, and that's what inspired me to actually go ahead and get an MBA. I still wanted to be close to analytics, and I still wanted to be a consultant. So I was looking for great consulting schools, and in that regards, MD just absolutely stood out for me. Also, the close student to teacher student to faculty ratio that Emory has was of real appeal to me. So I ended up choosing Emory, there I was at Emory in Atlanta. Uh, during my MBA, like everything was absolutely phenomenal. Of course, like COVID did not help or helped as much as it could, but in other regards, right? Yeah, apart from like recruiting, partying, studying in that order, I was also part of Goizueta Tech Association. I was leading that club, and I played field hockey for Emory. So those were just like whenever I used to like feel down and out, I just used to go play hockey with my buddies. So that helped. And then there on, I was finally able to pivot into analytics consulting, the thing that I really wanted out of my MBA. So I am currently working as a data science consultant with Accenture Applied Intelligence out of their New York office. So yep, that's my introduction. Happy to answer more questions.
All right. Thank you. Naveen?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, hi everyone. I'm Naveen, and as like through, I'm also from India. We were roommates. Trivia. So I graduated this past May with my MBA degree from Goizueta. Have been working as an associate at McKinsey ever since. Um It's been like 4 months. And prior to Goizueta, I had like 6 years of professional experience, 4.5 years in manufacturing industry, and 1.5 years in financial services. I worked in mostly B2B sales and corporate sales roles. Uh, the I was leading this product at Amex, and I that's when I realized that I needed a business education upgrade. So that's what prompted me to get my MBA, and I chose Goizueta for three reasons. One is the Atlanta location. The second is the small student to professor ratio, the small cohort size, and the third is the career opportunities that Goizueta offers. And at Goizueta, I was also part of the Ambassadors Club. I was one of the three presidents, and I was also the treasurer for the club Sasa. And so that's a little bit of background about me. I'm super excited to be here. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you both. And we did not pre-plan this, but you already touched on some important things that everyone should know about Goizueta. And that's the top-ranked excellent education that you're going to get, as well as the career services. The class of 2021 employment report will be published shortly, and you'll see it's record-breaking. Actually, 99% of students were received and accepted positions within 3 months of graduation. So congrats to you both and to your whole entire class. Always have been strong, but this year particularly was strong. And then also that small, intimate learning environment with the 5-to-1 student-faculty ratio, like you said, and the fact that you get to know your entire classmates and also still get to enjoy the benefits of the Atlanta area. So as you said, both of you are from India originally. Most of our audience, or at least many of our people in the audience today are from India or from countries outside the US. Typically, the 2-year full-time program has about 30% of international students coming from outside the US. As an international student, how did you go about narrowing down your list of schools in the US to apply to, whether, when it's difficult, especially now with COVID, you can't really travel to come visit and get a sense for the personality, but how did you narrow down your schools and what was important to you as you were going through the process?
Well, this was actually one of the things that I learned from YouTube, so I cannot take credit for that. So what I learned was that you make a list of schools, everyone does, and then you list out the attributes in terms of what is important for you, whether it's like consulting, it's finance, wherever you want to make your career. Then some of the other attributes as the size of the school, the size of alumni, the student to faculty ratio, scholarship, whatever you may have, and you rank order them. So you have your schools and you have your individual rankings, and then you sort them all out. And so basically, the ones that you will get on top are the ones that are really appealing to you. And that is exactly what I did. So for Goizueta, it was consulting, it was favorable student to faculty ratio, honestly, great scholarship as well. So everything like literally stood out, and yeah, Goizueta came on top for me, and that was like one of the reasons why I ended up applying to Goizueta.
And yeah, most of what Dhruv said, but I had a few different parameters while I was choosing. One is I wanted a city location because I realized that MBA is a networking driven aspect. So I wanted to stay in a city where I can network in the city itself. Uh, and second one is like having a small cohort size. I always like the quality of connections rather than the quantity. And I also wanted to have both consulting and tech options for me, so that with these filters, there were only quite a few schools that I could apply to. And what stood out for Goizueta was, I usually speak with a lot of people before applying because it's a heavy investment emotionally and monetary wise as well, right? So uh, uh, something that stood out at Goizueta was people were extremely helpful. If a few people could not answer the questions that I was asking them, so they made sure that they connected me with other people, and ensured that and followed up like whether that question was answered or not. So that did not happen with any other schools. So that the people thing really stood out for me. It made me realize that the Goizueta community is very tight knit. So that kind of like prompted me to apply for Goizueta, and then was very glad when I received the admit from Goizueta.
Great. Thank you. Well, we've talked about the intimate learning environment, the low student-faculty ratio. How did that play out in your actual experience? Did you get to know your professors well? Did you get to know your classmates well? Any stories you want to share about that you particularly think of about your time from Goizueta?
You're absolutely right. And that was sort of one of the bigger surprising, like positively surprising elements for me for Goizueta. Because coming from India, right? I mean, I was in BITS Pilani, and like it's one of the top schools in India. But even for BITS Pilani, like we have like close to 600 to 800 students in a batch, which is a lot, and you don't get to know a lot of people, a lot of faculty. So coming into Goizueta and like literally in the first few days, getting to know 50% of the class was a big deal. And one of the funny incidents that happened was me and a couple of my friends, we were walking on a street close to the school, and I saw our marketing professor, Ryan Hamilton, and he's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing out there? Don't you have classes to attend?" So, I mean, just the personal investment and the knowledge of like who exists, and just people reciprocating to that was phenomenal, and was new for me to see. So yeah, everyone knowing everyone, faculty knowing you by name, yeah, was surprisingly refreshing for me. So yeah, I really like that.
Sure. Was it motivating in the classroom since you knew you couldn't hide behind?
you know
You couldn't get lost in the classroom, no.
Oh, that was tricky. I used to always hide my head behind my laptop, just so that professor don't see me. It used to work sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. And I was sending out networking emails, and I was sending out requests on LinkedIn, and professor would be like, "So Dhruv, what is the answer for that?" And I was like, "Good question." So I would just like randomly answer something, and professor, because they're kind, they would be like, that is true, but also, and then they'll give the correct answer. So yeah, that used to happen a lot. But all in good spirit. So
Yeah. So you're saying that balancing your job search time with your academic focus is challenge but doable.
absolutely. Oh yes. I feel MBA would throw 100 things at you,
Yeah.
and I guess this is the time to be, for you to actually manage all of those 100 things together. You might miss out on a few, obviously, but that's what you do MBA for. It's just the ability or the opportunity it provides you to manage multiple aspects of education, of personal life, of networking, of recruiting, everything. And then you just like once you are through that experience, you'll be miserable when you're going through it. But once you're through, you'll be like, "Oh, I'm on top of the world, and it was all worth it."
Sure. Naveen, how did the small by design format of the school help you?
I think 1 month down the line, once the MBA started, I think I knew half of my class out of like 150. And like during the first semester, I think I met everyone, I spoke to everyone. It was really encouraging to see, like, to talk to so many people. And as Drew suggested, like there are only like three sections, so one professor for like 50 students, 45 students, which is not like too many students for one professor, right? So you always used to get that personal attention from them. And if you're talking about electives, it used to average with 25 to 30 students, which means more attention for you. So I always like the fact, and the discussions used to happen very personally, and you always get pulled into the class discussions no matter what, which teaches you a lot of things in terms of like how to communicate, especially for the international students. So all these aspects help a lot, and yeah, I absolutely love the experience.
Yeah, great. Well, just for everyone's reference, when we talk about small by design, our 2-year incoming class is typically around 160 to 170 students. So it was actually exactly 165 this year, the class that just started in fall of 21. The 1-year program is a group of about 50 students. And so they're on their own in their first summer. So they start in the summer, they start in early May. But then in the fall, they're joining the returning second year students. So if you're a 2-year student, you get to know your first year class really well. You get to know the second years because they're your buddies, they're your advisors on career and all those sorts of things. But then you also get to add new one-year students to your class in the second fall. So it's a great balance of small enough so you can know everyone literally, but you also are always going to be meeting someone new, and we can still deliver a diverse group of students in terms of personal backgrounds as well as professional backgrounds. So I think that really benefits. So talking about students coming from outside the U.S. trying to go through the MBA process and get their post-MBA position, obviously, like you said, there's a lot of risk there. It's high stakes. It's a big deal. That's why you're coming to business school. So how do you think your time at Goizueta and your work with your career coaches helped make you successful, helped you end up with these great results for your post-MBA position?
So the career coaches, are extremely important because they are the people who like fine tune your resume according to the needs of the company. Not just that, they also like guide us, handhold us sometimes by telling us like this firm looks for this type of people, and you have these strengths, so you should portray more of these strengths. Uh, you know that personalized feedback is what I absolutely loved. And you have career coaches for different post MBA roles. There are some for marketing, some for finance, some for consulting. So having these specialized people who try to push you forward, you get confidence from inside, which is really important when you're interviewing with these Fortune 500 firms. So that was really helpful for me.
Like to add to that, right? The ability of you to actually reach out to multiple coaches, it is to the point that Naveen mentioned, right? One is for consulting, one is for tech, one is for finance. If you're interested in making a career in multiple fields, and you can totally be, like I was searching, I was not sure what I like initially what I wanted. I was like literally trying everything. So in that sense, just all of access to all of these coaches is super helpful. Also, for my final job interview, the job that I actually ended up taking with Accenture, Brian Smith, one of the CMC coaches, he was super helpful. Like we had so many mock interview sessions together. He helped me frame my answers so much. So yeah, that was like definitely a big help. And I mean, yeah, of course, like I can say that my resume was good, but it definitely helped me make it better.
Sure. One thing we talk about a lot at Goizueta, and our program dean Brian Mitchell refers to a lot, is day one readiness. So using your experience in the classroom to really get hands-on practice and experience to be ready to walk into a lot of different situations for multiple day ones that you will have right after business school, but then throughout your whole career. So did you feel particularly well prepared on your day one of your position? Dhruv, you're both smiling, so I hope that means yes. But
Um, yes, for sure, absolutely. One of the biggest sort of takeaways for me from my MBA was the ability to communicate effectively in a new territory. So I have not worked in US before, like prior to my MBA. So just the ability to have a conversation with anyone and just like talk in a language that they understand and that I comprehend them well. That was like a big takeaway. So in that sense, and given like it's consulting, just like you speak a lot, you interact with a lot of people, and you network with a lot of people. So in that regards, MBA was absolutely essential. And in terms of like the other aspect of my job, which is like very technical and very analytical, I took necessary courses at Goizueta in terms of analytics, which were focused on forecasting or which were focused on machine learning and which were focused on marketing analytics. So I knew what I was trying to get into, and I was able to, given the resources at Goizueta, I was able to pivot in that direction. So I would say that yes, getting into like day one, in terms of day one readiness, I felt pretty confident about starting my new job.
Great. Is that true for you, Naveen?
Yeah. So I think for me, the day one readiness thing came up quite a few times because I think I did like three full-time internships, one part-time internship, and then one, when I started my full-time offer again. So yeah, I mean, initially I felt the jitters, but something that the day one readiness teaches you is like being okay with the ambiguity of being in those new role and or being in these new shoes. So that I think happened because of all the experiential modules and programs at Goizueta, be it like Impact 360 and having, or even the fact that I could reach out to a few people to make sure that I'm ready on day one. So that's having that support also helped a lot mentally to be prepared. So of course you will not be completely prepared on day one, but at least it's about the feeling that you get. And I almost always got that, I was well prepared to, tackle the new role. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know, you don't know everything, but you know how to learn, and you know how to walk in and ask the right questions, and your confidence certainly has been built through your time at Goizueta. Well, I know you both need to get back to those jobs that you have started in. Do you have any last very quick words of advice for candidates looking to start their MBA in the next year or two?
Yeah.
Or why they should go to Goizueta? The best thing about Goizueta?
I can start. So one thing I would say is talk and reach out to more people because everyone's experience is different. It matters. You will learn a lot more things by speaking with 4 to 5 people before applying. And Goizueta is definitely doing really well in almost all the career opportunities that it offers. So for that reason, I think you should definitely give a serious, look at the application and reach out to more people and be more prepared. People are here to help. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to build off on that, feel free to reach out to like even alums as well. While everyone is very helpful. I know multiple people have reached out to me, and I have helped them with their profile. So do that. Also, one more thing is that is prepare yourself mentally is what I would say. Uh, at MBA, like to the point that we earlier discussed, it's hectic, and it's gonna be a lot of effort for sure. But just prepare yourself mentally and physically for 2 years, and trust me, like when you'll come out of your MBA, you'll be like, you know what, it was totally worth it, and I'm like, at a much higher level. I'm operating at a much higher level than I was before. So it's just that the grind is there, but for all the right reasons.
Great. Thank you both so much. It was lovely to see you, and I'm sure I'll see you again soon. And get back to work.
Absolutely,
Thank you so
Kathleen.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yeah.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
So for the audience, as Naveen and Dhruv are logging off, what I'll do is go through some high-level important things to know about Goizueta Business School, some of which I'm sure you've seen in the research, and others I'll go ahead and answer some commonly asked questions. But as we talked about with Naveen and Dhruv, the most important things to know about Goizueta Business School are, once you are part of the community, you're going to be very engaged, very active in the community. You will know your entire class as well as your professors. And that investment in your time as a student and those relationships are the foundation to your network, as well as building your skill set for interacting with other people in new situations, for leading, for making decisions, for moving forward and navigating the rest of your career immediately and in the long term. So that is a huge benefit for you as your development and growth. Then in terms of resources, our career coaches are excellent. Our employer relations team are excellent, as demonstrated by our career results. And our admissions team, our job is really to bring in a group of students who we know we can partner with to be successful during school and post-graduation. So that's why we're looking at your academic record, your professional record, all those sorts of things. So things to know about Goizueta: our 2-year full-time program begins in mid-summer, kind of late July, which is a little bit earlier than some other programs. Traditional format in terms of the core, accelerated core in the first semester, then electives, summer internship, and then 2 more semesters of electives. We also have a fantastic accelerated 1-year MBA program, which is very similar, all the same resources and opportunities as our 2-year program, but that first year is accelerated into 1 semester. So the things to know about the 1-year program are that it does start pretty early. It starts in early May, so you would absolutely need to apply by round 2 to be considered for, particularly if you're coming from outside the US. But then also that it does not include the internship component. So most successful 1-year students are doing a career transition that's not completely dependent on the internship. I want to make sure that you know, unusually, you can actually apply to both the 2-year and the 1-year MBA program with the same application. So you don't have to decide on the front end. You can apply to both if you're interested in both. The admissions committee could decide that you're a good fit for both. You could be admitted to both and then decide, or could decide that you're a better fit for one versus the other. Other things to know about the application process: we are as transparent as possible. All the information is posted on the website. We also have several different development programs for you and access points. We have weekly information sessions where we'll go through the details of the program structure, the application process. We also have a fantastic program called Getting It Done 101, and that you can sign up for. That's the primary way to receive an application fee waiver. Then we're also going to be reviewing all the standard components of the application. There is a test waiver process, which again is spelled out on the website. But I look forward to speaking with you more, talking more about the application process and what makes Goizueta a special place to study and learn and be part of the community. So with that, I will go ahead and wrap up, and I look forward to speaking with you more. And so thank you so much, GMAT Club.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for sharing that information with our audience. We hope that all of this provided with valuable information about Goizueta Business School to our audience. If you guys have questions, remember to join Kathleen in Zoom. The link is now being posted in the chat, and we hope to see you there. You can also stay tuned on YouTube for the next business school presentation. So thank you, Kathleen, for your time today, and we will see you in